two samples here of the General Motors expanded polystyrene bead. I believe it's 12-pound density. The first operation is to take this General Motors paint here and prepare a good base, a primer base for it between the board and the paint itself. This will be a one-step process. We will apply onto the surface of this pre-sanded board a material called MagnaCryl UV 2212. This is a 100% solid ultraviolet light reactive coating, a cross-linked coating. We're going to apply it wet, uncured, and put on top of it a special powder which will act as an adhesive bond between the paint and the surface. In there, then we will pass it under an ultraviolet light and completely cure the material. Then we will have a basis for which to paint on this particular paint here, which will become scratch resistant and provide much better adhesion to the surface. The second process that we are going to try to do is to demonstrate a flocking onto the same EPS board. This is a specially prepared piece, and it is smooth to the touch. I don't know if you can see it there. And on this one, a two-step process to prepare that on this particular board. Roller on some MagnaCryl 2212 primer. Rollering it on will give me a nice thin film, and we'll try to cut down on the coverage. And that effectively should do it. It is very thin. I'll get a weight for you on this. On this surface, a coverage of 3 1/3 grams per square foot of board. This is an uncured state, and I am now going to put MagnaCryl powder 2363 on top of the surface. To apply a MagnaCryl powder 2363 onto the surface of this board and try to get a mono micro bead surface over the surface. As you can see, it flows on very smoothly. And that is a prepared surface. This, at this point, is still uncured, liquid, and there is no solvent, there is no evaporation at this point. We are going to pass this under special lights, and it will cross-link the whole system. Okay, we are going to pass this on to this belt here. This belt is running at 24 feet per minute, and we're going to give it one pass under the light. At this point, this is a very hard surface, very scratch resistant, very scuff resistant, a very hard binder paint onto the surface. Good job. Bring it in for a close. Paint this sanded board with a standard water-based black paint called Magnacryl, Magnatex, 2369 black. Have here the paint base, the 2369 black paint base that we just brushed on. We allowed it to dry. It took about 2 to 3 minutes with air blown on top of it. And we then roller coated the 2212 on top of it. What we are going to do is electrostatically flock this surface with this flock. By doing so, we're going to ground the board and pass it inside the flocking chamber and create turbulence so that the flock will then be conducted to the surface. Now, 2212 is formulated to allow, to be conducive to this electrostatic flocking to be going on. We were careful to make sure that it will flock sufficiently under this particular setup. So that is now grounded, and I'm going to create turbulence. Now, as you can see there, we're building up quite a lot. I'm going to switch this over just to the other side. I want to get the bottom of it. Okay, we now have our flocked piece. What we will do is allow this 2212 to bind the system by passing it under the light. We're going to take this board now and pass it under the lights and cure it and bind the flock into the system. Started out when we first got in these samples, and after our flocking procedure we ended up with this. That's bound in there and nice and evenly flocked. Okay, at this point, we have thoroughly drenched all the surface of the board with our 20% diluted 2358 coating. In normal procedure, this would be done in a one-step dip into a larger reservoir of material and taken out. At this point, I'm going to allow this to drain for 5 minutes in this particular position, and then reverse it and give it a reverse flow for about 2 minutes. I'm also going to turn on a double rotating fan system on both sides to give it extra dry during those minutes. Then spray paint it with a red paint dries, and then we repeated the same procedure. I don't feel anything wet. We got all the angles, so we got a good three-dimensional cure. You can get the light from the